Ethan Wanyeri, Eberechi Eze, Max Dowman. Those are the options that Arsenal have to replace the injured Noni Madueke. It was reported earlier today that Noni Madueke would be out for a minimum of 2 months. Now, when he first got injured in the Manchester City game at the weekend at the Emirates, a lot of people thought it would be an ACL injury. Now, David Ornstein has come out today and said he will be out for about 2 months. So by the time you imagine he's up to speed again, it may be 2.5 months. That is a big, big injury blow for Arsenal when you look at he probably has been one of their best players this season. He's been their best player in the league this season when it comes to taking on players, getting down to the byline, and putting the ball back across the box. Arsenal do have quite a number of players out injured. Kai Havertz won't be returning to mid-October. Gabriel Jesus won't be back until December. Piero Nkappi is a doubt for the Port Vale game and the Newcastle game. And then Noni Madueke is out till probably November. And Martin Odegaard has a shoulder injury. It is a mini injury crisis. But after all, when you've got arguably the best squad in the Premier League right now, it is going to be tested to its limits. It's going to be tested to the max. And it is now down to Mikel Arteta to maximize what he has out of the remaining players fit. Make sure you go down and drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button. If you're new around here, we'll be back here tonight as well for the Chelsea match reaction, as well as Liverpool versus Southampton. Now, this is the report that came out from David Ornstein earlier that said Noni Madueke expected to be sidelined for around 2 months with a knee injury. The 23-year-old sustained a problem in the first half, Arsenal versus Man City on Sunday, but understood to avoided an anti-cruciate ligament ACL damage. Now, that is really, really good news if you're an England fan, because I believe he does have a part to play in next year's World Cup. If he did get an ACL injury, it'd probably rule him out for that as well. He will be out for about 2 months. And when you look at the players that Arsenal have missing for the Port Vale and maybe Newcastle United game at the weekend, it is quite a list already. Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Piero Nkapie, Noni Madueke, and Martin Odegaard. That is 3 of your forward line out injured. Now, thankfully, Noni Madueke has not done his ACL, because I do want to see this guy in an England shirt. And you never really want to see that sort of an injury. As much as I despise Arsenal, you don't want to see that sort of injury on a player. It can change their career. It's very, very rare that a player can come back from that sort of injury and be as good as they once were before. You look at, for instance, Virgil van Dijk. He's one of the rare ones. Timber's one of the rare ones. We'll have to see from a Tottenham perspective how James Maddison will be when he recovers from it. And this got me thinking about Arsenal's game tomorrow, and this got me thinking about Arsenal's time while Noni Madueke is out. Now, I'm going to look at their next. We're going to look at their next 10 games or so, because that is essentially what Madueke is going to miss. Now, from an Arsenal perspective, it won't actually be horrendous because there is an international break in there, so it will break up the Arsenal games for him. If this was, say, December/January, it probably would have had a bigger effect on their season. Now, they've got Port Vale tomorrow, and then they've got Newcastle United on Sunday. Other than that, though, they've got more than enough to go and beat West Ham, Fulham, Olympiacos. Atletico Madrid will be tough. And then after that, it's Crystal Palace. Now, Noni Madueke will not be returning until the end of November. So when you look at their fixtures going into November, he should be returning in between the Tottenham game and the first game in December. In November, it does get tough. But up until he's back, Sunderland, Slavia Praha, and Burnley, you'd expect that to be 3 wins for Arsenal. After that, though, it does get difficult. Tottenham, we looked really good under Thomas Frank. Bayern Munich as well, won't be easy. Chelsea away will not be easy. Brentford at home, you'd imagine that should be 3 points. Villa away won't be easy. 4 days later, away to a Club Brugge side that battered Monaco 5-1. And then you get into the next, after that, Wolves. Let's be honest, Wolves are one of the, if not the worst team in the league right now. And then Everton, Brighton, Villa, and then we're into the new year. Now, I personally believe Arsenal's replacement should be, and I may get pelters for this, it should be Max Dowman. Ranieri will cover Odegaard in the number 10 position and alongside Eberechi Eze. And on the left-hand side, you've got Martinelli and you've also got Leandro Trossard, who are both in decent form. Now, Max Dowman, for me, when he has played on that right-hand side, he looks very, very good. You know, this season, he's played a handful of games for Arsenal. He's 15 years of age. During pre-season, he looked really, really good against Villarreal, against, Athletic Club, against Milan. When he come on, he looks a threat. He was winning penalties, and he does something that's very similar to Noni Madueke. He is happy to run at a fullback, whereas Martinelli and Leandro Trossard for the last year or so haven't been too confident. Martinelli right now is oozing confidence through his veins, probably the same as Leandro Trossard is. But from a creative perspective, they can't line up the same way they did against Newcastle, because if Liverpool go on to beat Crystal Palace, which will be on the Saturday, which for me is arguably their toughest game in their next running of their next 10 games. If Liverpool go on to win that game against Crystal Palace, and let's say Arsenal don't get the right result, they could be 7 or 8 points clear of Arsenal after only 6 games. That 5-point gap already is going to be difficult to claw back. The fact that one of your better players is out injured, Bukayo Saka is coming back from injury. I don't think he should be starting against Port Vale. I think give him a few more days and start him against Newcastle. But if he isn't fully fit, if he isn't match fit, if he's not completely ready, this is when you're going to find out what sort of talent Max Dowman really, really has. Arsenal cannot afford to drop more points. Liverpool have been perfect so far in the Premier League in terms of a points perspective. 5 wins out of 5, 6 wins out of 6 in all competitions. Probably will be 7 out of 7 when you get into the Southampton game later on this evening. Now, not only that, this weekend's games, the fact that Arsenal are playing at the 4:30 game on Sunday provides even more pressure, because Liverpool play 3 o'clock on Saturday. You know, even we play against Wolves. We'll be doing a watch long for that. You know, if Chelsea and Liverpool both win, that puts massive pressure on Arsenal. Even City. Wow, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea are not televised this week. That is absolutely insane. If Liverpool, City, and Chelsea were all to win, right, that would put massive pressure on Arsenal. That would put Liverpool on 18 points. That would put Chelsea on 11 points. And that would put Manchester City on 10 points, which would mean Arsenal would have to go and win as a bare minimum. Otherwise, the pressure will be astronomical already after 6 games. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Arsenal have had the toughest start to the Premier League season out of any team in the league so far. Newcastle United is not getting any easier. After that, though, there is more than enough for Arsenal to go and get a run. Max Dowman has to be playing football, in my opinion. He is unbelievably talented. Ranieri has to be playing. You know, Miles Lewis-Skelly has to be playing. These kids need to develop, and the only way they're going to develop is game time. Newcastle United and Olympiacos, you know, is going to be very, very tough. Plus, they've got Port Vale tomorrow. I imagine you probably will see Max Dowman, Lewis-Skelly, Ranieri, one of Trossard and Martinelli, probably a back line if Nketiah is fit, him, Lewis-Skelly, Ben White. You'll probably see, Kepa Arrizabalaga. you know, you'll probably see a number of players, right now come in and come in right now and get some game time. But let me know your thoughts. Who do you think is the solution for Arsenal's injury? And I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.